When I took my first step towards mastering English, this book was my starting point. Let me spill the beans that why I started from this book only. See, no one in my family had ever learned English, and there was hardly anyone around me who was trying to learn this language either. Back then, we only studied English from textbooks, and that is also in schools only. So I truly believe that books were only my ticket to learning this language because I had already dreamed of speaking fluent English, and turning that dream into reality was incredibly difficult for me. So there was no chat GPT, and I wasn't even using a YouTube at the time. So everything I speak in English today is the result of my self learning. I have taught myself from very scratch. I have picked it all up through my own efforts with no formal guidance. So it's obvious, like whenever you learn something on your own, then you are gonna make mistakes, and you are gonna waste a lot of time. So throughout this journey, I have stumbled a lot of times, wasted a lot of time, and burned some money on silly things and lost patience in this whole journey. That's why now I think that if I had the right guidance and support of someone, then I could have saved myself from many of these pitfalls. That's exactly why am I here today, to share these 5 mistakes which you need to avoid to make your English learning journey easier. So if you are someone who is a beginner or intermediate of learner, then this video is meant for you only. First mistake is don't burn your money on grammar and dictionary books. This first mistake is very close to my heart because as a Marwari girl, I burned my thousands on such thing which I never used, and this regret is really real. Back then, I honestly believed that if I bought a big fancy grammar book and a cute little pocket dictionary, so I would be speaking fluent English in just a month. बट 1 साल पहले इस बुक की अनबॉक्सिंग करके ही मुझे पता लग गया था कि मेरे पैसे तो गए पानी में. इसकी थिकनेस को देखकर ही मुझे ना चक्कर आने लग गया था. हाँ, अगर अभी इसकी जगह कोई नॉवेल होती तो बात अलग थी. Then that would be another ball game. Literally, it's so heavy. It's so heavy actually. It feels like I bought a gym tool instead of a language tool. I can do exercise with this book only. Okay, so और यहाँ बात सिर्फ पैसों की नहीं है यार. See, it's not just the matter of rupees. Let me share what's the real matter and problem. So one side I keep this book, and the second side I keep English animated story. And here I ask you to watch that animated story and read dictionary book and pick out new vocabularies. Then what will you choose? I have no doubt that you would be choosing animated story because that is easy and you will remember vocabularies with real expressions if you will pick animated story. And in dictionary, what happens? It's such a boring way of revising vocabularies. I bought this book as well. After this book, I bought this one. This is the popular dictionary book which I bought, and I had this kind of mentality that if I will just remember or mug up all the vocabularies, I'm gonna become very fluent and I will sound very fancy while speaking English. But this didn't happen. एक बार के बाद में इस बुक को खोलने का मन भी नहीं हुआ. I bought this book second hand. One by one, I used to buy books, and I used to think that okay, I'm investing in fluency. But these books just ended up sitting on the bookshelf, which you can see here, and gathering dust. I'm not saying that grammar book, dictionary, vocabularies are not important. Obviously, it's important. The whole English language is made from these things only. But the point which I want you to understand, you don't need to buy big fancy books to learn them. See, there are many free practical resources available on the internet. So, books you can buy for reading. No issue, no doubt. That would be the greatest habit which you would be building in your entire life. So, read books, no doubt, no issue. But for grammar and for vocabulary, please don't buy. So, the last thing, fluency comes from practice, not from collecting books. Second mistake is don't wait for perfect time to practice. क्योंकि perfect time, yes, कभी नहीं आता. That perfect moment is just an illusion. It never shows up on right time. You have to create your own perfect time by starting right where you are and with what you have. If you keep sitting on the fence telling yourself, I will practice soon, I will someday, tomorrow, trust me, you will blink and 6 months and years will pass you by. Meanwhile, someone else who started taking actions will become fluent and take the opportunities that would have been yours. Back in 2022, I had filled more than 5 notebooks completely writing about daily use sentences. Yes, I wrote so much, but the funny part is I can't even show them to you right now. Because at the time I was living in Gujarat and right now I'm living in Rajasthan. So once I just memorized all of the sentences, daily use sentences, then I just throw them in some corner of my home. And I never thought that they would matter to me someday. I never thought that I would be sitting here one day and talking about them. And I didn't know that scribbled books would ever matter in my life. Or I would wish that I still had them to share with you today. I poured nearly 10 months into writing notes, page after page, because I thought one day I will write down all the English sentences, and once I did that, I would magically become fluent in English. Then I invested 2 more months in an English course, you can say. And guess what? Even there, it was mostly about memorizing more sentences, daily use sentences. This idea really works actually. Daily use sentences are having a big hand to build my confidence to start speaking English. And then came 6 more months of just input like listening, reading, writing, but still not speaking. Because I believed I had this mindset that only after learning all the vocabs and sentences, I would finally be ready to speak English. Means I was waiting for the perfect time. And that was my second mistake, which I made in this journey. I used to think that unless you have complete clarity in a skill, you should not start using it. और मेरे केस में ऐसा हो गया था ना कि I had developed such a strong habit of making vocabulary list, writing down sentences, and I was really enjoying this process. But then one day I came across an application which is named CV Speakify, and I started using that application each day. That application provides 30 minutes regularly. I don't know it is providing right now or not because I'm not using currently that application, but I have used that application for a long time. So now I was not just getting input, I was doing output as well while speaking on that particular application. So this time I was not just taking input, I was making difference from giving output to myself. And that's when I realized that yes, I can communicate in English with people, with real people. Now no more mirror techniques or camera techniques and shadowing, because now I can communicate with people. So sometimes what happens, you know that you can speak English, you have the ability to speak English, but you just live in this illusion, in this kind of misconception that you can't speak English. So as I said that 10 months I was writing sentences, and 1 more month I just invested in taking classes, and again 6 months I was just taking input. After that I started speaking fluently. But I will not want you to repeat the same mistake. Don't wait for perfect moment to speak. And when I became good at communicating with people, then that's when this idea came into my mind to starting a YouTube channel. This idea of making a YouTube channel sparked in my mind. And that moment marked the real beginning of my journey. If you watch my old videos and compare them with the recent ones, you will see a big difference in my speaking, in my body language, and in my confidence as well. The difference is like night and day. From my rate of speaking, the way I express myself, and my confidence, and the way I face camera, everything has changed. Mistake number 3, have patience. You have to accept that fact that fluency doesn't come from speaking your first sentence. It takes efforts, consistency, and a lot of patience. Every mistake which you make is actually a step forward, because with every error you learn something new. In the end, you are not failing, you are just leveling up. If you say she have instead of she has, don't panic. Just pause for a second, check the tense, and correct yourself. Of course, having a mentor is important, it's imperative. But if you are mature enough or you know tenses, then you can correct yourself. You can highlight, you can point out, you can become your own teacher. In today's generation, you can't say that you can't afford an English tutor. You can. As I also provide spoken English classes, and if you like my way of teaching, so you can mail me there and you can also join my spoken English course. I will teach you everything related to grammar, speaking practice, and I provide many English learning activities in my classes which you enjoy, and you learn English with enjoyment in my classes. So if you are interested, so you can mail me there and I would love to help you in your English learning journey. Mistake number 4 which you need to avoid is you will not figure out everything on day 1, and it's completely okay. What really matters is you show up every day, even on the days when you feel stuck, when there is no visible progress, or when you are simply not in the mood of speaking or practicing. Just show up every day. Don't listen to your mood, just show up every day. If usually you are practicing for an hour, then on that day when you are not in the mood of speaking, that day you can just practice for 15 days, 20 days, what did I say right now, 15 minutes, or just for 20 minutes you can practice instead of 1 hour, but practice. If I share my experience, so in my own journey, there was never a moment when I felt like that's it, now I know everything about English, now I don't need to study, now I don't need to read. I never thought like this. Yes, so have this kind of attitude. Read every day, listen every day, whatever is your interest, just do it. Let me share one more thing. I was learning English while managing my college side by side. First, attending college, completing college assignments, then going to spoken course, and let me add one more thing here. I used to commute. I had to commute each day from my home to classes, and it used to take me almost 1 hour. So I used to do a lot of travel for this language, and then again doing my classes work, and I used to practice speaking as well at home. So I used to feel, at the end of the day, I used to feel completely drained and exhausted. But one thing kept me going is practice. No matter how much tired I am, I felt like I need to show up every day. I have to show up. And one more thing I have learned in this journey, I stopped complaining. I was such a girl. If there is much salt in my food, I used to complain about it a lot and I used to get so exhausted. I used to become so aggressive about it that I used to just leave my food. I used to say to my mother that मुझे नहीं खाना ये खाना. I used to complain a lot. But in this journey of learning this language, I stopped complaining, which I love about this language. You know what? That is a quote. I once read it in my self-help books, which I want to share here. Slow growth is better than no growth. ग्रोथ ना होने से अच्छा है कि स्लो ग्रोथ होती रहे आपकी. So this quote really helped me, and you should also just remember this quote while learning this language, and it will really help you. 1 घंटा प्रैक्टिस नहीं हो रहा, कोई बात नहीं, 15 minutes प्रैक्टिस करो. Slow growth is still growth. Moving on to 5th number mistake which you need to avoid is comparison. I know in this journey we compare ourselves with others. That wow, this person is speaking so good and confidently, and I'm the one who is not speaking. Same idea. The truth is, everyone's journey is different. Maybe the person you are watching or admiring, that person has learned that language in 3 to 4 years. You don't know. You are comparing your day 1 to that person's day 100. So don't compare it. Or maybe you are comparing yourself with the other person. That person already had the environment in their childhood. They are surrounded by it. So never complain. You don't know that what was their process. Comparing yourself with others will just break your confidence. Instead of this, focus on your actions. So these are the mistakes which I wanted to share today in this video. These are the 5 mistakes you need to avoid. So if you also avoid these mistakes, trust me, your English learning journey not just will become easier, it will also become faster and more fun. So that's it, guys. See you in next video, and keep on practicing, and please avoid making these mistakes. Bye bye.